There are 10 games left in the regular season for the Nets, and now they are closer to being in the play-in tournament than they are to securely being in the playoffs. So let's talk some Brooklyn basketball with the Nets beat reporter for the New York Post. That would be Brian Lewis. Brian, it is good to see you and talk about some Nets hoops with no drama at all.
Oh, yes, it is. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I'm glad to talk to you about Brooklyn basketball without any drama. This should be fun. Now, Brian, since the trade deadline, the Nets have gone from 3.5 games clear of the play-in tournament to a virtual tie with the Heat for the number 7 seed. When it comes to avoiding the play-in, what's the concern level for Brooklyn right now?
I mean, it should be reasonably high. If you had asked me even a week ago, I would have thought that would have come down to Saturday's game in Miami. But if they don't get their ship righted, I'm not sure that Saturday's game is going to be the end-all, be-all if they want to avoid the play-in. If they don't get their stuff right, they could very easily beat the Heat and still end up in the play-in. So, I mean, their concern level should be reasonably high about avoiding the play-in.
All right, they want to avoid that play-in, currently tied, as I said, for the 7th seed in the East. Now, some of the Nets' most important games of the season, you just mentioned one, maybe these next 2 games. Brooklyn hosts the Cavs on Thursday, and then a battle with the Heat on Saturday night in South Beach. What's the key to the Nets getting wins over these next 2 contests?
I don't think it's that different than their keys to getting wins for the rest of the season. Their three-point shooting has gone in the tank, and it's really their defense that's led to that. Listen, when they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they could manufacture offense in the half court. Those were great isolation players, and they could manufacture makeable looks for them in the mid-range. But that's not the way this team is built. This team needs to hit threes, and to do that, they pretty much need to get stops and get out and run and get threes in transition and early offense. That's the way they're going to have to win. And they can't do that unless they start getting stops, which is something that's been troubling them in this 4-game losing streak.
Starts on defense, and we'll see if they can snap that 4-game losing streak Thursday against the Cavs. Now, 10 games are left in the season, Brian, and this is a new-look roster, as you know, that appears to be trying to find their identity. Do the Nets still have enough time to find out who they are before the postseason?
Well, they probably have time to be better suited and more cohesive than they are now. That's true. So, yes, if I want to be literal, they do have time to find themselves before the postseason. But they're going to have to find themselves all over again in the offseason. I think there's a very slim chance that this team looks exactly like this going forward for the long term. I think there are some pieces that are core pieces. I think Mikal Bridges is a core piece. But they have some significant decisions to make in the offseason. This is a wings league, and they have a lot of wings, but they do have too many. They have a glut at that position, and they don't have enough big men. They don't have enough point guards, and they need to figure that out. Now, that's not something that they can do between now and the offseason, between now and the postseason, I should say. So, yes, in terms of who they're going to play in the playoffs, they can get better cohesion with the roster as it is currently constituted. But then they're going to have to break that roster down a month later and start again and figure out, okay, how do I pair off some of these wings and fill some of the glaring holes that I have?
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see if the Nets are able to avoid the play-in and make the playoffs and who they will play and all the matchups and that such. But it starts with them having to get some wins against some tough competition over the next 2 games. Brian Lewis, the Nets beat reporter for the New York Post, will be all over it. Brian, good to talk to you and not talk about some drama again. It was like drama-free interview. It's so nice. It's better for you. It's better for me. It's better for Nets fans. It's just better for everybody. It's a good thing.
It's better for my pressure. Yes, it is.
There you go. All about that health. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, man.